Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. Today we are using these, do you remember I turned around and said that when I'm mopping up my colours and things with kitchen roll, some of the patterns look really rather beautiful, and I thought, well, I don't want to waste them, so I should do something with them. And one of my subscribers turned around and said, oh yes, you could make some really good backgrounds and put them onto paper, and so that's what we're going to do. Really simple. Now, you will find that most of the kitchen roll and stuff is going to be like 2-ply or 3-ply or whatever. So what you need to do is, you can see this is 2-ply. You need to separate it off first of all. So it comes off really easily because obviously it's already been wetted and used. And I've let these dry completely. So we now have this lovely sort of looking piece, and I've just cut some, and this is copy paper because I'm like, I'm going to be using these for various things and I don't want them to be too thick. So this is just coloured copy paper. You can use white, you can use cardstock, you can use whatever you want. And I'm just using a glue stick. Now, if you've got double-sided sticky sheets, you could use that, and you could all, put that onto a piece of card and use it that way. I'm just doing, these glue sticks. I think I told you before were actually given to me, so I'm always into using stuff that we don't have to. We don't have to go out and buy. I'm into using, as you know, all of the stash that I've got, and I've got so much. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to, buy the odd thing, which I will do. But the majority of the stuff, I'm literally just using what I've got. So you want to cover this completely. Now, I've done this piece 6x6 knowing that I will probably cut it down, so it doesn't matter if your edges aren't particularly perfect. Then you're just going to take one piece, and I'm going to give it a bit of a screw up because I want the wrinkledy bits with it. And then I'm literally just going to, as we did with the tissue paper, I'm going to just push this in on top and then sort of smooth it down. And I want some wrinkles and things in it, so I'm just making sure that it's got, can you see how you've got some lovely sort of wrinkles coming in? And then I'm going to smooth it out. So smooth it out so it comes right into the edges like that. And it will take a little while to dry, but again, it's the sort of thing, have a little patience. I'm going to take it onto the other side, and I'm literally just going to trim it round, and then I can put it to one side, and we will make some cards from this. So again, I don't have to be overly precise with this because I'm going to trim it, but I want to have the edges so that they look quite nice. So whoops, and as I say, it is only copy paper, so you're making yourself a background which is really has cost you virtually, I was going to say not even pennies really, because it's a cloth that you would have, kitchen roll that you would have thrown away. And what I would suggest is, now I used mine quite a bit, and then there we are. So that's another one. I'm going to finish these ones off while we're nattering. So my favourite one is this one because it's got these really lovely sort of pink colours and things in. So I'm going to do this one, I think, on a paler colour. It's a bit crinkly, that one, but it doesn't matter. So I wonder what the weather's been like for you in whatever country you are. We had some lovely hot weather early summer, and I know that a lot of Europe and America has been having some really, really hot weather we haven't. We've had lots of rain and quite cool weather. So I'm not complaining, because the garden this year, for once, last year my garden looked like straw. Literally, it was so dry, and we had a hose pipe ban, so you're not allowed to water the garden with a hose pipe. You can water it with buckets and stuff and a watering can, but you know, you imagine trying to water your lawn with a watering can. It doesn't really work very well. So this year we've had plenty of rain, so my garden is actually looking beautiful, but I haven't been able to sit out in the garden very much because it really just hasn't been nice enough or warm enough. So right, so again I'm just going to screw this up a little bit because I like the wrinkly bits, and again I can just sort of work out where I'm going to put this. I like that part. I want to try and get as much of that on here, and I like that bit as well, so I'm trying to get as much of the coloured parts on, and then again just wrinkle it out. This being kitchen roll is actually far more forgiving than tissue paper. Tissue paper is really quite fine, as you know, so it can tear easily, whereas this really is pretty good. So let's take this one and do this. So yes, so my garden is looking lovely, but I have been getting quite wet, which I don't mind too much. They always say that there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing, and I think that's very true. You know, if you've got bad clothing, so you haven't got your waterproofs and you haven't got anything, and you get soaking wet and you get cold and damp, and that's not much fun. But if you've got really good waterproofs, you can go out in whatever weather. And because I have a dog, as you know, because you hear her sometimes, I'm out walking all the time, so you know, it is one of those things that you know, it really doesn't matter. That's quite interesting. I've done that on the sort of the yellowy one, and I did the other one on this one I'm going to do on the blue again. But I'm going to do this one on the yellowy one as well, because it gives a very different background. So if you have coloured cardstock, you're going to get a very different look to it, and I'll show you them all at the end. So either fast forward or listen to me nattering. I think sometimes it's quite nice to have a bit of a chat as well, because I feel that, you know, a lot of you have been with me for a long time, and I really do appreciate it. And it's lovely when, you know, I have comments and things, and it's always the same few that comment all the time, which is lovely. You know, it's nice to have followers who are support me and you know, always give lovely comments and things and tell me about what they're up to and stuff, which is lovely. So right, let's do, is this the last one? I think it is. Okay, so screw this one up again. Oh no, I've got another one there that I've just screwed up, haven't I? Okay, so we've got two. That's fine. I'm going to do this one because this has got a bit of a sort of a browny splodge in the middle. But again, I think a lot of this will. I'm going to try and put it that way so we can have this sort of blue, almost like tie-dyed bit on there. And then again, it's very much a matter of just smoothing it down, but allowing some wrinkles, because the wrinkles give you that real sort of textured look. And I think that these are going to look absolutely fabulous when they're dried. So that you really need to press them down quite well, because if you don't, you'll find that as they dry, they'll lift up. But once you've done it, then you can just sort of trim it round. So yes, what else have I been doing? My eldest son and family moved into a new house, bought a new house, which is all really rather exciting. And it needed a lot of work doing to it, but thankfully he's able to do a lot of work. So, and it backs onto a river, which is lovely. So there've been lots of geese and ducks, and my little granddaughter calls two of the ducks Donald and Daisy, which you can imagine is from the cartoons. And she has absolutely no fear of any sort of animals and things. She just loves them, even the geese. And the geese, now that they're growing up, they had the two Canada geese had 5 youngsters, and of course when they were little and grey and fluffy they were very sweet. Now they're almost well, they're at the stage where they look the same as the parents. They're starting to flap and fly, and will be heading off, I would think, in the next sort of few weeks. But so I wouldn't sit with them, but my granddaughter sits with them and strokes them, and because they've known her since she was little, or since they were little rather, you know, they just are incredibly gentle with her. It's quite a sight to see. I think she will be the next generation of female David Attenborough. I think she'll probably go to work in something to do with animals and things, which is rather nice. So, you know, I'm very lucky with my grandchildren. They're all absolutely adorable. Okay, so now this one, I'm going to take it I quite like that little bit of orange in there. I wonder if I can get a little bit of that, but then there's not very much of the there's a bit too much white in there, but I don't think that'll matter. So, you know, you can move it to where you want it, and I just wanted some of this orangey bit to come in. So, you know, put it where you want, because unless you do, I mean, you can always cut it exactly the same size, which I could have done, but I know that I'm not going to use cards that size. But, you know, again, you can use it for, I might do some as die cuts, which I think will be quite fun. So, so let's trim that off. So yes, so the house is absolutely looking beautiful now with the work that he's done. He's put in a new kitchen, he's plastered and put in new door frames and doors, and then has gone and sanded all the floors, because they're lovely wooden floors. So sanded the floors so that the upstairs is looking lovely and the kitchen's looking lovely, and then the rest is, as he says, work in progress, because, you know, they've been in a month, so a lot of work to have done in a month. But it was great fun going round and helping and doing all of those things. There, that's quite nice, a little bit of that orange in on there and some white bits. So let me go back to the crafting from my nattering away, but at least hopefully that kept you amused a bit. I'm just going to put my glue down, and I'm going to show you all the pieces. Take it off this green so we don't have the distraction of that. So that's with a blue background. That's with the cream. That's quite nice because it looks very bright on there, doesn't it? And that one as well. So I've done, these ones I did before. So that is it on blue, and that is it on the yellow, or the sort of dark cream. So you can see the difference in the background colours. And they're both lovely. That's more muted. That's quite bright. And I think once it's dried, it'll look pretty. So I like These are my favourites. I quite like that one actually, because I like that sort of tie-dyed bit on there. And you can see again on this one, this is the darker one. So that's, or is it that one? I think those are both done in the blue. Quite like that, where it's got that splotchy bit on there. And then there's those ones. So it's given me 6 backgrounds that I can use, or again, I might actually die cut some things out. You know, a dragonfly or something like that, die cut out of some of these would look lovely. But these ones, again, I think, you know, if you put your image in on here, you've got all of this sort of background coming through. And again, you know, put the image on there. I like that sort of, bring it up a bit so you can see. I like that real sort of crackly, wrinkly sort of look to it. It's really, really rather pretty. So I hope you enjoyed that. Quite a quick one, but you know, a simple one to do. And you know, I will at a later date do something with them. So I'm just going to put them down now to dry. But thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.